Why in the world does a Netflix movie cost $210 million to make when it might not even get a theatrical release? Well, that's Knives Out 3. Good movies. Is it worth that much? We'll talk about that and more on this live edition of the Kristian Harloff Show. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It is Tuesday, and we are going to be doing a lot more live shows, as I've been telling you guys. And today is going to be me talking to you guys about all these different things. But starting next Tuesday, Roxy and Brett will be on the Tuesday show. I think Mike and myself and Steph are going to be going live tomorrow, Thursday this week, and Friday will be pre-tape. But next week, we'll start the live run. So that's what we got here today. We're going to jump into it. So, as always, the way we're going to run this is I already saw a couple of people putting in the questions, and one person put in a question, and that's great. Put in your questions, and by the end of the show, I'm going to go through them. If it's one, it's one. If it's five, it's five. If it's 50, it's 50. So let's get into the first topic of the day, and that, of course, is that Knives Out 3 apparently has a $210 million budget, guys. How are we feeling about that? Well, the third entry in Rian Johnson's Knives Out franchise is reportedly the most expensive of all, and the most expensive murder mystery ever made. The Insider reports that Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, clocks in at a budget of $210 million, over 5 times the cost of the $40 million original. Though it's far from the most expensive movies ever made, it will be up there, one of the most expensive films ever made that's premiering directly on streaming, assuming that information is correct. Daniel Craig's Southern accented, Benoit Blanc, returns alongside a bunch of potential suspects, victims, and killers. The cast stacked: Josh Brolin, Josh O'Connor, Jeremy Renner, Kaylee Spaney, Andrew Scott, Kerry Washington, Mila Kunis, Darren McCormick, and Glenn Close. Very stellar cast. In the film, Blanc sets out to solve a new murder mystery with photos from filming suggest scenes in a sleepy English village. Shooting began in June in the United Kingdom and wrapped 2 weeks ago. It's a UK-based production. This time, it will potentially have applied for tax credits, and thus budgetary information must be publicly disclosed, though not until well after its release. Johnson and Rand Bergman are producing, with plans for a late 2025 release on the streamer. I just don't get it. And I also don't get what's happening in the comment section. What am I going to be wrong on? Transformers. I already said that I think that it's for kids, the way that they have put it out so far, in the tone, and it's probably going to be pretty good. I didn't love the first trailer, but I think it could be a pretty good movie in that tone. So, I'm not sure what you mean there. So, if we get to this potential thing here, this budget. Why are we spending that much money on the first one? I think was what, 50, 60 million, something like that. This is what we were talking about with Roki yesterday, and I know it's the same thing where people are like, "Why do you care so much about budgets?" This is a very important time in the business when you look at the stuff that happened with the strikes and all of that. There is so much happening in the business right now, that the negotiations that happen with streamers and how much you're going to get paid and how much, it's how they even make a profit. So I don't understand. I just don't understand how, in general, and not even just the streamers, but like I told you, I don't think that any movie should be over $200 million. Like when it comes to a movie like, say, like Avengers Endgame, or these movies that lead up to it, where it's pretty much going to be guaranteed. Like when Deadpool and Wolverine clocked in, whatever it did, I'm like, yeah, because it's got enough hype behind it. Is there enough hype behind Knives Out 3 to justify doing 210? I just don't understand it. I don't understand why you do this. It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when it's not in the theater and is it going to get a limited release. I guess it's one of these private meetings that you have with Ted Anderson. You say, hey, tell me how you make money. on a $210 million budget, it's not just people signing up to the platform, right? Like, what is it? Because people are, I can't imagine for $210 million, or whatever it is, you're going to have enough people that are going to sign up because of Knives Out 3. And both these movies, good movies. I like the first one better than the second one. People love the second movie. I didn't really dig the second one, but they're a little too predictable for me. I hope this one is less predictable, but still good movies. And fun movies and clever movies and movies that don't really happen often anymore unless they do wind themselves up on streaming platforms, right? They don't get big, wide releases. And it doesn't look like this one is going to get a wide release. And Netflix, I think, should start doing more wide releases, especially if they're doing budgets like this. And I saw someone in the comment section say something, well, why shouldn't this one get a big budget if that movie with The Rock and Chris Evans got a big budget? That one shouldn't get a big budget either. If you're spending $125 million on it for Netflix and that's what they can do, to me, that's a pretty big budget. $210 for a Knives Out 3 when the first one proved you didn't need this. That's the thing. It proved you didn't need it. And even the cast, I mean, there's a lot of big cast in here. But I don't see a lot of break the bank cast. Maybe just because there's so many people. But I don't understand it. It goes, the reason why I wanted to talk about it again today is because it's just an ongoing thing. That it's almost like a plague that doesn't seem to be stopping, nor doesn't seem to be bothering the studios at all. And to answer the same question I answered yesterday, where people are, well, why do you care? Why do you care about the budgets? Because I think it's affecting the business negatively. I think it is affecting creativity negatively. I think that because there's all this money put in there, that there's too many cooks in the kitchen, that because money is being put in, that they have voices. Because the more money that's put in, the more investors that come in, the more money, the more executives have a right to say, well, we're putting in this much amount. We can say this, we can say that. And creatively, things start to change there. Price points on actors change because they feel like, oh, I can go to Netflix and go get X amount. And then when I go to try to do this movie that should cost $40 million, I ask for more and that movie never gets made. So that's why. And people don't understand that. Well, why do you care about the budgets? As long as it's good, who cares? Because there are certain movies that aren't getting made because of budgets like this. And that is why. And I'm going to keep beating the drum for this because it is so important for it to change. And some of these movies just don't need them. As I said, like a movie like Endgame, there's certain movies that I understand when there's a big, huge, but Avatar, I understand why Avatar costs the way it does. And if I'm a studio executive, I say, okay, Avatar is coming and he's asking for this. He's proven so many different times that he's going to produce this and then the box office is going to have that kind of return. I'll take the risk and it'll make sense. And I see where the money's going. And not to poop all over Acolyte again, but can you guys put, for those people who enjoy the Acolyte, and I know there's tons of people who in here that did, can you tell me, A, can you justify the $180 million? That's part one. Part two, where did that money go? Just locations? Where did that money go? Where did $180 million go? Compare it to Obi-Wan, which was, I think, $70 million. And granted, it was on the volume and probably cost significantly less. But it was during COVID, which those times were more expensive because of all the protocols and everything, too. So why did a show like Obi-Wan only cost $80 million or whatever it cost? And this movie, that show cost $180. Where does that money go? So I don't approve anything if I'm going, wait a minute. Rian Johnson, look, we had Oscar buzz on the second one, and the first one was amazing, and people are really digging it, really liking what you're doing. Can you tell me, why do you need 210 this time around? And what is the answer, and what does the smart person who's making these decisions and cross-check, okay, that makes sense, I'll sign you the 210. I just don't get it. And I think that's where I want to hear from you guys. Tell me exactly, what you think. Like, why in the world do these things cost the way that they are, or why does this one cost what it does? And it does. It just takes away from things in general. I mean, I think that someone said there's like $100 million for Ryan and $100 million for Daniel and 10 for the cast, and shoot, something like that. I mean, granted, that's an exaggeration, but you're probably not wrong. You're probably going to get, for each movie that Rian Johnson does, he probably gets a significant bump. For each movie Daniel Craig does, he probably gets a significant bump. at that point, I mean, I guess you can't give points on stuff like this because it's like there are no points. So it just comes straight from the budget. I guess that's the answer, right? It's like, 'cause sometimes you can say, well, you know what? Let's not give so and so $20 million, but let's give them some points on the box office, and then maybe they'll make some hefty cash if it does really well, and we'll trim some off the budget here, and we'll call it a good deal. You can't do that with stream. I guess you got to go straight to the cash on that. So when you see that, it's just disheartening, and it doesn't take anything away from the movie. This could be the best one out of the three, by the way. This has nothing to do. There are some times that I do think that budget absolutely hurts a movie because I think that directors are challenged when they have smaller budgets. I've said this before. Like if they have a smaller budget, they're challenged to be more creative and use those creative juices what they're using. When they have the 210, they can say, just spend it on this, spend it on. We don't want to shoot there. Just do this. Put some money into that CGI. Do this. Spend money here. We have it in the budget. Just do it. That happens quite often. But it doesn't mean that Rian Johnson won't use the 210 wisely. He could use it tremendously, and it could turn out to be the best one. I still don't think he needs it. He's going to tell you otherwise. And I did say, I can't remember which, I think it might have been, was it Todd Phillips? I think it was Todd Phillips. Was it Todd Phillips? I think it was. He tweeted out something along the same lines as some of those comments of like, why do people care so much about budgets? Because it's hurting the business, Todd. That's why. It's hurting the business. In my humble opinion. That's what I would say. And I know not all of you agree with me. And I think that some of you think that who cares? But I don't feel that way. But I will ask you to comment, put your thoughts in there, please, and thank you, obviously. And then, yeah, I see right now we have about 3 questions in there. That's wonderful. So we'll get to all 3 of those. It might be a shorter show today anyway, because I have a couple things that I'm going to be covering. I will tell you this, that normally the show is going to be on at 1 p.m. EST and 10 a.m. for you West Coasters. But today I have a couple different things that I'm doing. Matt Serra is going to come in the studio a little later, and we're going to do our first movie reaction. We're going to be reacting to Borderlands, and then I'm shooting another one tomorrow. I'm shooting another one on Thursday. I'm shooting another one on Friday. So I'm trying to get all these. And we'll probably put them out once a week, and then we'll start putting out movie reactions once a week. I have my Beetlejuice out of the theater reaction coming out tonight. So going in and checking that out, and I'll probably have my non-spoiler review up for that tomorrow. So things are very busy. I'm still doing the UAP channel also. So there's just a ton of stuff going on today. So there you go. And some more, again, thank you for the people who are putting in those questions. And by the way, and I think that this is clear every time we do this show. Obviously, this show, we talk about pop culture, we talk about movies, about TV. You can bring in whatever you want. I know people sometimes bring up wrestling and sports and stuff of that nature. That's the type of show it is. It is pretty much whatever the hell you want to talk about. All right, let's move on. And I mentioned the Joker, so let's just stay there. Let's stay with the Joker. And this one's coming over from Comic Book Movie. Joker, Folly Adieu. First clip finds Lady Gaga's new take on Harley Quinn singing her cares away. So here is the clip itself, not the clip, but I'm just going to read what it is here. And this is from our buddy Mark Cassidy over at Comic Book Movie. Joker, Folly Adieu will have its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival tomorrow. And Warner Brothers has now released the first clip from Todd Phillips' highly anticipated sequel. The footage finds an incarcerated Arthur Fleck speaking to Lady Gaga's new take on Harley Quinn, who will go by Lee Quisnell in this movie. Lee tells Arthur about the first time she saw Joker on the Murray Franklin show, revealing that she hoped that he'd blow his brains out. When she saw him do just that, she didn't feel so alone anymore. The clip concludes with Lee singing a few lines from Get Happy, but when Arthur starts to join in, they're interrupted by one of the guards. Check out the clip at the link below and let us know what you think in the comment section. I would play it, but Warner Brothers will hit it with a strike, so we're not going to do that. We have heard reports that Folly Adieu is even darker than its grim predecessor. Despite going on to become a huge hit, Deadpool and Wolverine only recently surpassed it as the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time. The first Joker proved to be polarizing when it screened at Venice a few years ago, with some going so far to express concern that the film might actually incite violence in the streets. Festival director Alberto Barbera indicated that audiences might be in for an even rougher time within that sequel during a recent interview. If you expect just a second part of the previous one, exactly the same kind of narrative and situation and so on, you're wrong, because the theme is much darker, he told Vanity Fair in a recent interview. It's much more inventive from every point of view. It's completely unexpected. It's very bold. It's brave. It's creative, and incredibly original film. Joker Folie à Deux finds Arthur Fleck institutionalized at Arkham, awaiting trial for his crimes as Joker. While struggling with his dual identity, Arthur not only stumbles upon true love, but also finds music that's always been inside of him. Well, that's what they pretty much promised, right? They pretty much said that it was going to be a musical, but I think if you understood from the beginning of what they were trying to do, crumbs on my shirt. If you're trying to understand what they were trying to do, I think that everybody knew when there's a musical, I don't think anybody thought it was going to turn into West Side Story. But I think it was more so the same way that you didn't really necessarily know what was going on in Arthur's head in the first one, and the way they kind of give you a switcheroo a couple times. I think that's what's going to be going on in there. Like the musical that's playing in his head the whole time. Wouldn't even be surprised if Lady Gaga was kind of a figment of his imagination. I think she won't be, but if they throw that at you, I wouldn't be surprised. So it gets me encouraged. People are saying how good it is. I mean, this is one of my highly anticipated movies. Pumped for it. Think it's going to be incredible. Excited to see what both Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix are going to do in these roles. See what their chemistry is going to be like. That to me is pretty exciting overall. So yeah, it's so crazy how things like, it's October, almost October already. It's September. It's crazy how fast it just snuck up on us. I remember doing like the anticipated of the year, and I was in LA. Now here I am in New York, almost 2 months, and it's like moving. And now we're really getting into the summer was pretty busy, and then August but September is just looking to be really busy. September, October, November, and December. And as movie and TV fans, you should be excited. A lot of great stuff coming out. I guess that's something I can always ask the audience is that what are people excited about that's coming out? And I see some people writing that Transformers 1 is what they're looking forward to. Some people are looking forward to Beetlejuice. Some people are looking forward to Joker. And maybe TV. What are you looking forward to? I'm very curious. Gladiator 2 is another one. And we're going to get to a story with Gladiator 2 in just a moment, because that's something that has been, it's on my list too. It's another one that's been on my list, and I can't wait for it. But before we do that, before we move on, we're going to, I'd like to get your thoughts on what we just talked about thus far, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay. Put your comments in there. Being active on the channel helps tremendously. I think, and I did hear people, what I'm going to do, I don't know about today, because I think that I'm only going to put like 1 to 3 clips from the show per day on the channel, but I don't think I'm going to push that out to subscribers. I think that's the thing. I saw somebody going, I don't want my feed clogged up. There's a whole one of the main reasons I didn't want to do clips in the first place. I don't want people's feeds to be clogged up. So I think I'm just going to not push it to subs, if that makes sense. But I am going to do certain clip outs as the shows start to move. We're just, we're trying to evolve the show and do different things with it. So I have my clip out channel, but that's more for the interviews. I do have more interviews coming up. I got Jillian Michaels coming up. That's going to be on probably Thursday's show. I have Billy Magnuson coming up real soon. So there's a lot of different interviews that I've been doing. So we'll have that. I got Jennifer Esposito coming in studio, talk about her movie. So there's 3 big interviews, and all those clips will come out on the channel. All right, before we do that, I want to tell you guys about 2 of our wonderful sponsors. I'll tell you about both AG1 and Mando. Here you go. You guys know AG1. I mean, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know that I love AG1. And people keep asking me. They notice. John even said when I started, new look, 20 pounds I lost. One of those reasons, AG1 became part of my routine. I read labels. I verify that everything is up to the quality I need. And that is why I've stayed with AG1 for as long as I have. It is a research-backed foundational nutrition supplement, and it delivers daily nutrients, gut health support, and is backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting into your body. I used to drink so much coffee, because after drinking AG1, I have realized that I have all this energy and I need less coffee to power my day. It turns out I'm not alone, because in a research study, 91% of people noticed they needed less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1.
97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. AG1 contains ingredients that supported sustained energy so you can be the best version of yourself within each day. And it really has worked for me. It's easy, it's satisfying to start your journey with AG1. If you go to AG1 and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase, you got to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. It's the one product I trust to support my whole body health. It's AG1.
All right, let me tell you about Mando. I've talked about Mando so many different times. For me, I saw there was Dr. Shannon Klingman. It was some commercial, and I stuck around because I had heard people. And look, and I also, you heard me so many times. Hey, Mando, said that before, and I was like, oh, look at a brand name Mando. And then I got some, and I've been with Mando for a little bit, and it smells wonderful. You can put it all over your body. That's right, your whole body. It's dermatologist tested, and it's gentle on all your bits. That's right. It controls odor for over 72 hours, and it's clinically proven. You can choose from the cologne quality scents or unscented. It's got so many different great smells to it, and so for me it's like I'm right out of the shower. I have it on, and before I go in the morning, there's so many benefits to it. It's a whole body formula. There's no aluminum. That's the one that you always got to make sure. 72-hour control, as I mentioned, is doctor developed. It doesn't cause you irritation. It smells great. You're really, really gonna love it. So it is my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. When you're a new customer, you get a $5 off, or you get a starter pack, and you use that code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. You got to use the code BIGTHING at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Critically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. It is so good. I love Mando. Hey, Mando. Well, thank you to our friends over at Mando and AG1. Thank you guys, by the way. I got an IG DM yesterday. Is that what they call it? The IG DMs? Well, I got one of those yesterday. I said, hey, man, I actually just checked out Mando because I heard you and I heard that it helps out the show, and I'm looking for a new deodorant. I said, thank you, and I hope you enjoy it. I know you'll enjoy it, but same thing with AG1. People have been signing up to AG1 forever. So if you want to help out the show, you have the means to do it, and you're always asking how to do it, there you go. Okay, so we got some more stuff. No, Patrick, it is not. Not even close. It is phenomenal, and I've been using it for a long time. So people always say, people just read stuff and say things. No, it's not. And also if there's no, it's not. All right, here you go. Here is the next thing. And here is Ridley Scott talking about Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe, look, it's Russell Crowe. Actor Russell Crowe's career has been defined by many roles, but none more than his Oscar-winning performance in Ridley Scott's iconic film Gladiator in 2000. Nearly a quarter century later, wow. And now it's getting a sequel. One that follows Lucius, the son of Connie Nielsen's Lucia, who was a boy in the original who befriended Crowe's General Maximus Decimus Meridius. Paul Mescal takes on the grown man version of the Lucius role in Scott's sequel, and some fans hope that with de-aging technology, we might see Crowe's dead Maximus character in the film at some point, be it in a flashback or even a dream sequence. That's not happening. Crowe himself has previously discussed how he roughly knows what Scott is doing and so perfectly understands why he's not involved. Speaking with Empire, Scott gave an even more straightforward response. He was expressing gratitude for working with Crowe, and then a typical Scott-style common sense statement, who said, I think he's still one of the best actors in the world, and I think we have a good relationship. I hope we do. As long as he doesn't start bitching about he wasn't consulted, why would he? He's dead. The sequel follows Lucius, who has been sent away by his mother, General Marcus Cassius, who's Patrick Pascal, conducts a manhunt to locate Lucius, the rightful heir to the throne, and he's brought to the legendary gladiator pits to fight. Gladiator 2 also stars Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, Peter Mensa, Rory McCann, Matt Lucas, Terry McKinney, May Calloway, and Derek Jacobi. It opens November 15th. Man, oh man. Man, oh man, I saw somebody in the comment section that said that this is going to be like Grease 2. What are you talking about? Minus the music choice, I thought the trailer was pretty awesome. I don't know. Maybe people watching something else. And maybe people just, I can understand not being as hyped for Ridley Scott movies these days. He's very hit or miss. Roke and I were talking about it yesterday where they put the director's cut of Napoleon. And Roca, I think, rightfully asked who was asking for that. I remember them saying that they were going to put it out there. I don't know if it made it better. I just don't know who's hunkering in to watch a 3 hour and 45-minute version of a movie that they weren't excited about in the first place. I don't know. Not sure. I didn't mind Napoleon. It's not great. I didn't mind it. The thing that bugged me the most, I think I could have been more invested if everybody was French, or even had different. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, who I love, had an accent like he was from like Los Angeles or something. So the second he was talking, I was like, oh, I'm out of this. I'm not invested. That stuff bothers me. I know that it doesn't bother a lot of other people. It bothers me. That one Netflix show about the Germans, and there's these two, I can't remember what the name of the show was. You guys probably know, I've talked about it before, but these two Germans are sitting together. There's nobody else around, and they're in Germany, and they're speaking English. Why? There's nobody around. You're in Germany. You're not going to be speaking English. Two German soldiers. And it was like, that stuff bothers me. I don't know why, but it just bothers me. I think it's the authenticity of it, if you will. Sometimes it doesn't, but that time it does. And in the same way, to be fair, it did throw me off a little bit to hear, Denzel Washington with the New York accent in Gladiator 2. So hopefully it doesn't. Maybe it's not as dominant as, say, Joaquin Phoenix's accent in Napoleon. So I don't know. I'm not sure. But I am excited for this movie. And I seem to be, I don't know, am I in the minority? I don't know. I don't know. I ask you guys, are you guys excited for it? Are you cautiously optimistic, or do you just not care about Gladiator 2? What say you right now? Excited about it? Not excited about it? I'm so curious where you stand, because this is a movie to me that if Ridley Scott wasn't doing it, I'd actually be more cautious. I love the fact that he's doing it. Granted, he has hits and misses recently. I understand that. I totally get it. But I'm excited that he's doing it because I want to see what his story is. So I think that some people aren't really caring about it. I don't know. Really excited. It can go either way. I'm excited to see the naval battles. So, yeah, it seems kind of like mixed, right? I know. I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping. And also, the fact that it's coming out in November, I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because if they wanted to, you'd say, hey, it's Ridley Scott. We can't push him into January. We can't put it in September. We spent too much money on it. We got to put it in November and hope to make a profit around the holidays. Yeah, I could see that argument. I could see it. But I'm hoping the optimistic side, which is, no, we got a lot of faith in this movie. We're putting it out in November. We're going to make some cashish on it, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that's solid. And I am looking forward to hearing your guys, anticipated movies and which things you're looking to see. And I feel like if when that comes in there, and when I'm asking people to put that into the comments section later, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Joker. There's going to be a lot of what's the other one? I don't know. Maybe Mufasa is one. I don't know. I'm not necessarily looking forward. I think more people in this comment section are probably looking forward to Sonic more than they're looking forward to Mufasa, but I could be wrong. But I'm not sure. I'm very excited to see these movies that are coming out. There's a lot of them. Beetlejuice could be another anticipated one that people are pumped for. And I am very hyped to see it tonight. And I'm hoping I love it. I really am. I've really been looking forward to this movie. I've mentioned this before, but back in 2014, we had a very short run running the schmoesknow.com where we were breaking stories. We were actually getting tips, and it's how Snyder and I, Snyder became rivals with us right away before he even knew us. I had to have a sit down with him at a pizza place, but because he didn't know who the hell we were. But one of the main stories that we got was that Tim Burton was working on Beetlejuice 2, and that was 2014. 2014. It's been 10 years they've been trying to make this happen. So there you go. There's more stories inside of now switching to, I don't know what Nova is all about. This is one of those things that Winston and Coy tell me on Fridays. What? Oh, I saw something, by the way. Did you guys see this? I have no idea. bring this up, but I was and I don't even know. Couldn't been about me. I don't know, but I saw Coy going back and forth on Twitter as Coy does, and somebody was like, "You work for a guy who dives into the Rian Johnson Star Wars hate." I'm like, I hope they're not talking about me, because I'm like, I do. I think Rian Johnson's a great filmmaker. I don't like The Last Jedi, but I and when I first saw it, they Kool-Aided me, and it took me a couple of times. Every time when we kept doing rewatches, I'm like, oh, this is pretty bad. I don't like this movie, but if you like it, amazing. But I didn't go and say, I don't call him. I definitely never went the other side to say that he ruined Star Wars. I think if he says, hey, this is a movie I'm going to make, and you're the executive, and you go do that, then that's on you. And he did his movie, and people didn't like it. And then the other side is, like I said, when it comes, and maybe it was about me, because they said something like, oh, you're taking this narrative that you got to look at the business side. Yes, you have to look at the business side. You have to. Even on the creative side, you have to look at the business side of why these things are being made, and why you continuously have to do this in general, of who you making these shows for. You making them for one side, or are you making it for a mass audience? It's people who've got to take the political stance. Political stance. That's what makes the world go around. Make that political stance. You can just try to enjoy content, and if something's good, something's good. If it's not, it's not. You shouldn't be afraid to say if you love something. You shouldn't be afraid to say if something stinks. You just shouldn't. And that's what. And people are. People are afraid to say both, because if you love something too much, people call you a shill. If you hate something, you're a hater, and you're with those people who are just bigots and misogynists and all that. And both of those things exist, and that's why people are afraid to take a stance or say something, because if they go, I really love that. No, you really shill. Or the other thing, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Why? Because there was a woman in it? No, I just didn't like it. It wasn't a good story. So, it happens. It happens. I don't know. Who knows what people do in social media? Who knows? And maybe I was wrong. It might not even been about me, but I just saw it. I was like, even so, but it's like, in general, it's like, who cares? Just movies. Who cares? People care too much. But let's jump to this. But I was mentioning Coy and Winston. That's how we got down that rabbit hole. But Coy and Winston will probably tell me about Nova, what Nova's about. And you guys can tell me here too. And by the way, I did see, we got 7 questions here today. I love it. We're going to get to all 7 of them right after the last story. I don't know what the last story is going to be yet. But when we get to it, I will stay here until the last question is asked. So here is this Nova story. Let me bring this up. Again, going to a comic book movie. Nova, the Disney Plus series, is described as an ensemble piece with shades of Trek and Battlestar. Right, you got me on board with that one. I'm on board so far. I know I'm not a big Trek guy, but it doesn't mean that I don't have respect for what they try to do in that show, and the science fiction of it all, and certain things, and Battlestar. I'm on board Battlestar. So, Marvel Studios head of streaming, television, and animation, Brad Winderbaum, has shared some intriguing updates on the planned Nova Disney Plus series. Okay. We got confirmation that Marvel Studios was planning to introduce Nova to the Marvel Cinematic Universe back in 2022. And since then, there have been conflicting reports about which medium the project was being developed for. Well, now Marvel Studios head of streaming, television, and animation, Brad Winderbaum, has confirmed that Nova is indeed heading to the small screen, and shared some intriguing updates on the studio's plans for the spacefaring hero. Or should it be heroes? While speaking to the Phase Zero podcast, Winderbaum describes the Nova series as an amazing ensemble piece with a great cast of characters, possibly indicating that both Richard Rider and Sam Alexander will feature. He also says that the show will have shades of both Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. Now, which one? Which Battlestar? Winderbaum also confirmed the more special presentations are on the way, though he didn't reveal more details. The Nova Corps was introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, which led to speculation that Ryder would eventually find his way to the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. James Gunn showed little interest in the character, but the Nova series will most likely spin out from Thanos decimating most of the Corps in the build-up to Avengers Infinity War. This is what Feige had to say about Nova's MCU introduction back in 2021. The timing is relative, right? Said Marvel Studios boss. I think I'd be talking about Doctor Strange 8 years before that movie came out. So immediate potential is relative, but clearly we are not shying away from the cosmic end of storytelling right in the sweet spot of the Nova Corps and Nova himself. Sam Alexander first appeared in the Marvel Point one-shot back in 2011 before going on to lead his own series beginning in February 2013. The Arizona teen inherited the Nova helmet from his missing father and officially took up the mantle after being trained by the Guardians of the Galaxy members Gamora and Rocket. Previous rumors had claimed that Ryan Gosling might be up for the lead role in Nova. He is believed to have discussions with Feige about potentially boarding the MCU, but a Disney Plus series might be a stretch. And we've also heard that a young lead is being sought. If accurate, this would further suggest that both Ryder and Alexander will appear. Okay, well, I don't think necessarily this writes out Ryan Gosling. I know there's still the Ghost Rider side of Ryan Gosling also, someone he could play. But I don't think that this is that you could write him out. Because there have been tons of movie stars and big film people that have taken these TV roles, and why not? It's just the streaming, and as we've been talking about this whole damn show, with the amount of budget they're going to put money into it, it's not going to be low quality. They're going to pay him a pretty penny to do it if he does it. And the thing with Marvel, though, is that it eventually could lead into a bigger movie thing, depending on how it stretches out. So I wouldn't write Ryan Gosling out of this. And what a way, by the way, if they did cast Ryan Gosling as Nova, now, this is the difference between television and movies. Movies doesn't guarantee you put Ryan Gosling in it. Doesn't guarantee you that you're going to go and get people to go see the movie and look at Fall Guy, right? Really fun movie. Him and Emily Blunt, big stars, didn't sell tickets, right? And great promotion. Again, a lot of fun. I like the movie a lot. But it didn't sell. Because people didn't want to spend the money on a movie they didn't really know, an IP, whatever. If you already have Disney Plus, if you already have it, if it's like, oh yeah, I already pay for it every month, and then you start seeing promotions for a Ryan Gosling show in Marvel, well, check this out. It's Ryan Gosling. I like Ryan Gosling. I'll tune it in. The same way that you would tune in to watch Fall Guy after you've seen it hit streaming. I like Ryan Gosling. I already pay for this service and it's on. I heard it was good. I'll watch it. So if you can get Ryan Gosling in your show on a lesser known IP in Nova, get him. It already got me more interested in the character. I'm like, well, what is it? Well, I don't know what it is. And the Battlestar Galactica side of it meets Star Trek. Okay, sure, sign me up. Is it? And the reason I asked it, which Battlestar, the most recent Battlestar was darker. Are we going that direction? Are we going more kind of sci-fi with it, and really diving into it and getting away? And maybe does it lead back into Secret Wars? Does it even have any crossover with it at all? This could be interesting. But I do think a big name like a Ryan Gosling could help tremendously. Very, very curious what you guys say. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. So someone said Oscar Isaac was in Moon Knight. And that was... Now, I don't know how that show did overall, but I can guarantee you that having him in there definitely brought some more eyes to it. And it's where, now, if you... Same actor, put him in a Moon Knight movie to start, I don't know how good it does. But put it on Disney Plus, and you're like, oh, Oscar Isaac. Yeah, all right, I'll watch that. Now, it doesn't necessarily change the quality of the show. I liked Moon Knight, by the way. I'm one of the few, I think. But it doesn't change the what you think of it. It's just a matter of if you were tuning into it because of who was in it. So, yeah, I'm very, very curious. I'm very curious if Ryan Gosling will be Nova, if that's what it is. I don't know, because it's also, we'll see what Ryan and Kevin Feige were discussing. But I'm curious what you guys think about this. Put it in there. Tell me, what do you think overall about Nova? Do you care? Do you not care? What say you? Okay, I'm going to read one more story, I think, and then I'll answer your questions, and we'll call it a day today. Because, like I said, I got a lot of things going on too, and there's going to be a lot of. We're recording this reaction with myself and Matt in just a little bit, which tune into that. I'm probably going to release that on Friday for Borderlands. So tune in. And I would really like to know, because if you guys watch these things, I'll do more of them. If you guys don't care about them, then obviously I'm not going to do them. But we're going to do at least four to eight to start. I'm going to record at least 8 of them, I think, and then put those out there. If they do well and you guys care about them, you're like, I really like this. I enjoy these. And I want to introduce you to new people also. So let's see. All right. I think last story until we get to the questions. And that would be Smile 2. Now, Smile was a major, major hit. Like, it was a major hit, that first one. And, this is Smile 2. There's a trailer now, and there's a poster which teases the mystery behind the smile. And Naomi Scott's pop star runs for her life. Now, I like Naomi Scott a lot. That's probably, and I have not seen the first Smile. That's probably one of the ones that I'm going to do a watch along with, because I've never seen it. You know me, I'm not a big horror guy, but I hear good things about this movie. Paramount Pictures have released a new trailer and a new poster for Smile 2, the highly anticipated Smile sequel, which will see Naomi Scott's pop star Sky Riley attempt to solve a supernatural mystery. It makes sense. She can really sing. She's a real singer. New trailer and poster for Smile 2 has dropped via fearhq.com. And if you enjoyed Smile, all signs point to this being a worthy successor to the surprise horror hit, as well as hinting that we're finally going to learn more about the supernatural curse which haunted Susie Bacon Rose's Cotter in the first installment. We will see Naomi Scott's pop star, Sky Riley, go to drastic measures to escape it. If that works, well, it might be a game changer for the franchise. Smile has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and well received by horror fans. Expectations are high for this sequel to deliver, and shifting the spotlight to a lead character who is a celebrity promises to shake up the premise in an exciting way. Parker Finn returns to write and direct the sequel. There's no reason to believe it won't be as terrifying as its predecessor. Earlier this year, Smile 2 star Lucas Gage revealed that the sequel features a scene that's so gory it made him throw up while cameras stopped rolling. It's so terrifying. It was the first time I've ever been on set where I was genuinely afraid, and I actually got sick to my stomach in one take. It's not selling me, because this is the stuff I don't like about it. This is the stuff I don't like about it. And people, yeah, you big wuss, yeah. I'm not a wuss. I don't love gory horror stuff. It's not. I like the thriller stuff. Yeah, it's just me. Anyway, I didn't think I would. I'm sure Perry is losing her mind. She probably loves this. She's probably already seen it. Perry's going to love this movie. It was so gory and so disgusting, I vomited off camera. It legitimately is that scary. I'm not even lying. I've never been on something that truly terrified me. The crew is terrified filming because I don't know Parker Finn. He knows the genre so well. It's so good, I'm scared to give any spoilers away. If you love the first movie, you're going to love this one. Okay. So me even reporting this is for you Smile fans in general, because like I said, when this movie came out, I saw so many people telling me how much people loved this first movie. People dug this movie, and people said how great Smile was and how terrifying it was. And I just don't go to the movies for that. It's just, you guys know, someone asked me recently, are you going to be seeing the See No Evil? I know you're not a big horror channel. I'm not. I've never really gotten any satisfaction out of horror movies. There's sometimes, I think I liked the last, was it the last Evil Dead? One that I didn't mind it. I love the Conjuring films. I like stuff like that. I like stuff that was more about, but if it's just gore, gore fests and all those types of things. I've never seen a Saw movie ever. Not even a single frame. Maybe, through clips and stuff. Maybe I have, but not watching a movie. Never seen it. So I think that there's stuff that when there's actually involved horror, and I think that it's changed over the last. I remember when Mark Ellis and I were reviewing all the time that the slasher films and the stuff we'd see, I would just be like dreading to see them because they were just so repetitive and dull. But I think Blumhouse has changed it up, and Blumhouse has made better stuff. And I think that Shyamalan movie that he did with Dave Bautista, which is, again, I guess, is less horror, more psychological thriller type stuff. That's the stuff I like. That's the stuff I dig. So yeah, no, it is. It's true. Someone said Evil Dead is all blood, 100%. I said it's more so like a rare exception, is what it is for me. You're 100% correct. That is all gore, and I'm normally I just didn't mind the last one. I just didn't mind it. There are some times that I don't mind. I love the Freddy movies, because Freddy's cracking jokes. That's what I like. I like Freddy's cracking jokes. So someone said like Long Legs also. I heard that was another one we were considering doing a watch along. But that's what you guys are going to get annoyed with me when I'm watching. I'm going to watch some horror movies on these movies, and you're going to get annoyed with me because you're going to predict that I'm not going to like it, or I'm going to go, I've seen this type of thing before. It doesn't get me, and you're going to get annoyed with me. I'm telling you that right now. I know you are, and I'm annoyed with myself already from even doing it. So anyway, let me see. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Are there any big stories that are hitting? I'm gonna do a quick refresh and say, what do you think of the new layout? By the way, I'm gonna thank Luke for helping me out with that. The new graphics, the new intro. We find the music running. So instead of the music was a little too loud, I'll try to dim it down on the way out. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else. We talked about all this stuff tomorrow. Peacemaker season 2. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. But all the other stuff we covered yesterday, I don't think there's anything too big. Yes, there were tons of stories yesterday. Tons. Okay, so I guess then what we'll do real quick, let me tell you guys about both Hims and Tushy, which I've told you many times about, and then we'll get into your questions. So if you have any questions you want to fire in there, fire them in now, because we're going to start taking questions and then we're going to call it a day. But here's Hims and here's Tushy. Here we go. Hims! Guys, when we leave the house, whether you got your phone, wallet, keys, how's your hair look? But if you're experiencing hair loss, you may not be so confident when you step outside your door. Now, you got to get confident again, and you got to restore your hair. And you do it with Hims, because nobody wants to lose your hair. And for men, it's common. And now with Hims, the solution is simple. You try Hims hair loss solutions, and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back. Hims provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all the way from the comfort of your couch. They offer personalized chewable, orable, spray, and serum treatment options so you can find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. Just answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if the treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to your door. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, so if you feel like you're losing a part of yourself with your hair loss, get Hims and get your confidence back. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/bigthing, HIMS.com/bigthing for your personalized hair loss treatment options. So that's hims.com/bigthing. Results vary based on studios of topical and oral mixodal. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. So many comments lately about everybody that's buying the Tushies. And I see why you're buying them. I love them. You love them. Chris Carr loves them. Everybody loves the Tushies. I'm so excited to get you guys to get a Tushy that I almost thought about doing this from the bathroom. But then I was like, no, I want you to get it. It's terrible. That's a terrible thing for me to do. But I want to do it because I want to show you how much I love the Tushies. Check this out alone. Look at this. Just open up the toilet lid. You spray the water right in your tush. It's wonderful. Look at that. That's how it works. It's that easy. You put it on the toilet. You open it up. Spray the water on your butt. It's lovely. It's going to change the way that you think about cleaning up after a spicy dump in a coffee shop or a porta potty during a music festival. You're going to want to take Tushy with you everywhere, and thankfully you can. Because the Tushy Travel, it's collapsible, it's durable, and discreet portable bidet that gives you the most confident clean on the go. I keep telling people about these things. Everybody are getting the Tushies now, and everyone's like, oh, man, can I use your code? Can I use your code? Of course you can. It's the best. I got one. I've got 2 in my house right now, and it is so wonderful. We feel classy in this house. It's got a 3-stream nozzle for a total clean. It's got a new air mesh bag for discreet travel, faster dry time. It comes in 5 new colors. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and 12-month warranty. So stop wiping until you bleed. Join the 2 million butts who have already made the switch to Tushy. For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your entire order, but you got to use that code BIGTHING. 10% off Hello Tushy, HELLTUSHY.com with the promo code BIGTHING. All right. Who's getting the Tushy? Who's done it? Who's done the Tushy? I want to know. You got to tell me. Please. I got to know. I want to know. Tell me now. And then Hims, both. As I mentioned earlier, if you're able to, and you want to support the show, and you want to get something wonderful for yourself, then I would say definitely Hims, and I would absolutely say if you don't have a Tushy after me talking about it all these months, then that's on you. All right. So we have questions that we're going to bring up, and the first one, I feel like it's always, it's hard to beat Mike Joyce as far as the number one question. He's always asking the first question. And he says, I watched Leon the Professional for the first time the other day, and I loved it. Would you want to see a sequel to it? I'd watch Matilda the Professional. Well, I'm assuming you watched it because the Real Rejects just watched it. Or, well, Roxy just watched it. And over at the Real Rejects. And it was, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a great movie. You know, it's funny. I don't remember, because I've seen so many different things with this movie on the the deleted scenes. I feel like in the deleted scenes they show Leon training her more, and I don't think I haven't seen the original cut in so long because I have a director's cut where she was like training to more and more beasts. So I think there's even like one scene where she was like zoning a guy up like she was going to take him out, or I can't remember. I haven't seen it in so long. But if Natalie Portman wanted to come back and do, like years later, Matilda comes back and she is actually a professional now, that'd be interesting. I don't think you could do it in the same kind of dramatic fashion where you can. I wouldn't want to see her get taken out in the way that poor Leon. The way what happened with the way that it all went down with Leon. I want to see. I'd like to see it if they did it the right way. If Luc Besson came back and wanted to do it, and Natalie Portman was down for it, sure, why not? That would be she could do it. That'd be great to see, and especially see like Matilda's been at it for the last 25, 30 years, whatever it is. So great movie. If you've never seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's great. It's a great movie. But yeah, I'm glad you just watched that again. That might be one down the line if nobody has seen it on our crew. We'll probably have that. But all right, that's 1 out of 7 questions thus far, guys. So we're gonna get to the second one right now, and that's Simon. Simon, thank you, my friend. That's a very nice comment, and here it is. Simon section: $210 million for the love of film. Why? I want my layer cake sequel or limited streaming show or something. Kristian has another shot at steak dinner on both Blade movies coming out before this happens. I know. It's true. Because, I think it's the same thing, man. And this is not, you can't always blame, you can blame the studios for saying yes in the same way that I mentioned before when it comes to like The Last Jedi. You got to blame the people who said, yeah, okay, well, JJ had a plan and you want to do this instead? Luke was supposed to do this on the island, but you want to do this? Well, okay, go ahead. And then Colin Trevorrow comes in and goes, okay, well, that was what was put before me. I guess I'll do a story that just ties all that together. Ryan said this, JJ said this. Okay, here's my version, and it'll all tie out at the very end, and we'll stick to the plan that you guys wanted to do. That was what Adam Driver has said, was that the original plan was to be the reverse of Vader, and we're going to keep this guy bad the whole way through. We'll do that. No, we don't like that. You're fired. Why? We want JJ to come back because we know he made $1 billion last time. JJ, we'll pretend that you like the Rian Johnson movie, but we know you hate it. What do you want to do? You want to negate everything? Even though we greenlit, you want to negate everything. Oh, yeah, okay, go ahead, do that. Those types of people shouldn't be making movies, executives. They just shouldn't. In the same way that it's like the people who are greenlighting $210 million movies, what are you doing? You got to blame everybody for that. But this is why when it comes to Blade movies are different. I don't know what's going on there. That's just sometimes you just can't crack the code on certain movies. That's not necessarily budget wise. You just can't crack the code. And Layer Cake, that's another thing, is that but the way that when they made those movies and when Vaughn made those movies and all that back then, Daniel Craig was they weren't asking for the kind of money that they're asking today because they have a more established career. So it all goes into it, unfortunately. It's all about the dollars, man. It's all about the dollars. So anyway, Pete Parker says, I think that the actor's salary is a huge issue too. Yeah, Rebel Moon had $166 million budget, but mostly lesser known actors. Well, yes, but it's not. I mean, there's also, was Rebel Moon Part 1 or all of Rebel Moon was 166? Was Rebel Moon Part 1 166 or the whole thing? If that whole thing was 166, okay, you got 4.5 or 5 hours worth of content out of it. All right, money well spent, I guess, too. But that, a lot of special effects go into that movie, and the amount of slow motion stuff that for some reason, like I was invested in that movie when I was watching. I still haven't finished it. I was invested in that movie. I've talked about this. There was some fight scene in it, and they got me like hyped up for it. Sofia Boutella was in this emotional scene, and I'm like, okay, I am invested in this because of the way they set this all up. She was been on the run. She didn't, and here's this big fight, and in the middle of this, I'm like, oh man, what? And then they just start doing slow motion shots in the middle of the fight. I'm like, why are we doing this when we're just go with the emotion? I don't need style here. And it's like, how much did that scene cost just to edit and all the different things they put in there and the CGI stuff? And That's where money kind of tacks in sometimes when it's style over substance sometimes too. Okay, but yeah, the actors. I mean, you have enough. When it doesn't matter how many non-big cast members you have. If you have a lot of people, then yes, it's still a lot of money that you're spending. So yes, you're not wrong that there's that many people inside of an ensemble, for sure. Oh man, sorry for doing this, but I'm a Boston guy. Go BC. Well, our season already has been interesting to say the least. To say the least. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate it. Baltimore fan also. All right. If Brolin passes on Hal Jordan, who would you like to see cast? Josh Hartnett is a popular fan cast. Personally, I like the idea of Joel Edgerton. I like the Joel Edgerton cast. I like that a lot. Joel Edgerton, obviously flying high for me on Dark Matter, one of my favorite TV shows of the year so far. So, yeah, I like that Joel Edgerton cast. That's a good one. It's a real good one. I'd probably go. I would probably steal yours, sad movie guy. I like that casting a lot. And I think it's not one that would pop up on the top of everybody. Joel Edgerton's one of those actors that every time he shows up, everyone's like, oh, I like that guy. But he's never the one that someone goes, hey, put Joel Edgerton in that. But anytime he shows up, they're like, oh, I'm glad they put Joel Edgerton in that. He's like that kind of person. It's like every time he shows up, you're like, oh, great. That guy's in it? I'd love to watch that. But if like you were going to do a Dark Matter show, right? If Dark Matter was pitched and you're like, well, who do you want to see in that? Nobody's saying Joel Edgerton. Nobody's saying that. They're throwing in Josh Hartnett or throwing in all these different names. And you're not throwing in Joel Edgerton. I wouldn't want to see anyone else in that but Joel Edgerton after seeing him. And I probably wouldn't have said Joel Edgerton. But Joel Edgerton is great in that show. He's fantastic. And he's so good in Warriors. Probably my favorite performance of his is in Warrior. He's so good in that. Yeah, so I think to me, that's a great choice. I love that choice. Now, here's the problem, because of what we just said. Because he's not the first choice in a lot of different times, the likelihood of him being cast is probably slim to none. But I love the casting. I shouldn't say slim to none. Dark Matter was a pretty popular show, but that's Dark Matter Season 2 is coming out. So doing 2 TV shows at the same time, probably going to be harder to do. But great choice. Really good choice. I'm a big fan of Edgerton. So, okay, next one. And thank you so much. Look at this. So very nice. Simon, thank you, my man. Hey, Kristian, did you or anyone notice that Borderlands was free on a certain app? No. I saw it, and I do have a professional crush on Miss Blanchett, so it wasn't that bad. However, the third act did remind me of another movie directed by another Simon. No, I have not. I'm not sure what app. Tell me what app it was free on. I'll go watch it because I'm going to. We're about to do a watch along to it in about an hour from now. So if you got any tips, let me know. I can't speak on whether or not it's any good yet. I can't speak on whether or not the third act was any good because I haven't seen it. I haven't heard wonderful things about it. I can say that, but nonetheless. We're going to have an opinion on it pretty soon. And from what I hear, though, it's not one of these movies that it's like it's so bad it's good. It's just from what I've heard is either dull, it doesn't really do it. It's just kind of but I feel like having Matt Serra next to me will have some comedic moments for sure. So we'll see. And look, maybe we'll be the two people that and yourself will really like the movie. So who knows? I always say that too. There's certain movies sometimes that I watch that I've been on. What was a movie recently? I was clearing out files on my computer, and I found an old interview that Ellis and I did on the Heidi and Frank shows, like in 2015. I guess Burnt came out, which is that chef movie that Bradley Cooper was on. I listened to a little bit of the interview that we did, and I remember what I said in the interview was like, yeah, I didn't mind it. It got like 57% or whatever it was, and I probably less now. And I remember not minding it. And I think from what they said is that it's possibility that character might show up in The Bear because they teased a little bit of his character on like the wall, whether it was just because it was somebody was a fan of the movie or they're actually going to bring that character into it, or he studied at the restaurant there. I don't know. But anyway, all right, let's go to, thank you again, Simon. It was very, very generous and kind. Peter Parker just watched The Magnificent Seven 2017 the other day and realized what an underrated director Fuqua is. Tears of the Sun, Equalizer trilogy shooter. He certainly does have a lot of big things, a lot of movies and a lot of hits, and he's very successful. And, you know, him and Denzel, it's like the Scorsese and DiCaprio, Scorsese, De Niro thing. This is what Fuqua and Denzel do many times over. My dad just watched when I was there taking care of him. He was we were watching Training Day together, and I hadn't seen that in a while. So yeah, Fuqua, man, Fuqua's really he's got there's something about him also where he just can really put together just an entertaining time at the movies, which is what we really want, right? And he's able to still do that. And I don't think he overspends. I think that's another guy that's I think one of the reasons when you look at the movies that he's made and what he's done, do me a favor if somebody's looking right now and you're on the internet, what are the budgets for some of his movies? I can't imagine he's cracking huge, ridiculous budgets. And I bet she's making a profit on most of them. And that is what I'm talking about. The kind of movies that you're getting. You're getting fun movies and you're going, oh, if his movies are $150 million and he's making, 80 on them, 120 on them, then I'm going to go, what are they doing? But I guarantee you, if somebody comes back in the comment section and tells me what their budgets are, I don't think we're going to be saying that about Fuqua. All right. Renee Reyes. Happy Tuesday, Kristian. Happy Tuesday, Renee. Did you watch Amanda Stenberg's comments about the Acolytes cancellation? If so, thoughts? I did. And what I was saying about her thoughts overall is this. I think that what you can't discredit her on is the fact that you can't, if she says that that there are people that were coming after her and she was feeling hatred and she was feeling racially people were coming after her, you can't discredit her for that. You can't say, well, that's not true. That's not what happened with the show. Well, to her experience, it is what happened. However, it's not the only reason that the show got canceled. And there's two sides of it. It's like, I also don't think I like Amanda Stenberg as a performer. I don't think Amanda Stenberg's performance was the best in The Acolyte. I think that Daphne Keane was more of a standout. I think that Saul was more of a standout. I think that Yord was more of a standout. And I wanted to see more of the true detective story, and I just didn't think the twin story worked. But that was for me. Now, I don't necessarily think, now, this, maybe you have a conversation with Amanda and tell you differently, but I don't feel that Amanda was saying that everyone who watched it was racist and everybody was doing hate, and that's the reason why. If that's the case, I fundamentally disagree with that. It just wasn't a great show. And this is what I was trying to say. There's always this, like, there's three types of audiences that you're going after every single time, right? And you know that there's going to be people, doesn't matter what you do, and what she was addressing up top, which was the people that were just hating to hate right away. That's going to happen all of the time. They're just, no matter what is put out, they're going to start to roll out the hate train beginning. It's just going to happen. It's just part of the brand that they have. And then on the other side, there's just going to be people who love every single thing, no matter what it is. They love it. Doesn't matter how bad it is. They love it. And I've mentioned this many times over. The problem is that, to me, it felt like that the middle people that you really got to get on board to like this show didn't like it. And if they don't like it, your show's over, your movie's over, it's over. If those people, if you're not getting them, the internet's loud. That's all it is. It's loud. There's a lot of people who aren't on the internet who are watching television. And those are the people who are tuning in. They're not tweeting. And they're like, oh, let me see what everybody else is saying. They tune in. They go, do I want to watch this? No, I don't. I'm watching something else. I'm watching Netflix. I'm watching Apple. Now, I don't know what this is. The people on the internet are not everybody. That's what you think because you're on it and you're looking like, oh, this is it. They hate it. They love it. They hate it. They love it. They hate it. They love it. Who cares about the internet? Who cares? It's the overall people that are watching this show on the daily, the normal people that are just going about their day who watch television. Did you get them? And the answer was you didn't. And I guarantee you that it wasn't because they were hateful. It's because they didn't give a shit about the show. So those are my thoughts on it. Okay. Next one. This is LG, who says Matthew Fox would have been a great Mr. Fantastic. I mean, maybe in 2004, if that's what you're talking about. Now, I don't know. What's he even doing? He's got something, I guess he's doing, right? I don't know. Nerds, thank you, Houston. That's very nice. Super sticker from Nerds Engaged. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that very much. I think that's it. Did we end with a super sticker? That was very kind. That might be it. That was it, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Well, So people are actually putting in, budget for some of Fuqua's stuff. Equalizer 3, 90 million. Under 100 million for most of his stuff. Budget Man is at it again. That's right, Anthony. Eat it. Eat it, Anthony. Hey, Anthony, what are you doing? Hey, Anthony, you got something to say, Anthony? Hey, the Budget Man. Hey. Hope you're doing good, buddy. You've been around for a long time. You're a good guy. All right. What is it? What else next? 100 million. Equalizer 3 is 70 million. See, third movie, 70 million. Exactly. 90 million for Magnificent Seven. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of it. That's it. Yeah, that's my point. So anyway, thank you guys for being here today, and thank you for everybody who threw in your questions today. Like I said, it was a shorter show, but it was a fun show, and we had a lot to talk about. There was some really good stories, and I'm sure. So just to let everybody know once again what we will be doing, starting next week, we're going to be going live every day at 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. EST. And on Mondays will be Roca, Tuesdays will be Roxy, and myself and Brett. Wednesday will be Mike and Steph. Thursday is TBD. Right now, it'll probably be like a special guest or me doing something until we find like a regular person every Thursday. And then Friday will be Capes and Cowls, myself, Coy, and Winston. Then we have the Out of the Theater reaction for Beetlejuice today, non-spoiler going at it tomorrow. And then Friday, we're going to be doing, what is it? The reaction. The first one will be Matt, Sarah, and myself doing Borderlands. So that's what we got. And I feel like, when we have more, we'll have more topics and more things to be coming up and more non-spoilers, more spoilers, all those things. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed the show here today. I appreciate it. We'll be back again tomorrow live, most likely tomorrow live. Most likely. I would say 90%. I'm just waiting to hear back on Mike. But Steph's already in for live. But I'd like to have the three of us together. So Mike can't do it because Mike might not be able to do the potential 2 hours. So if he can't, then I'd like to get us together until he can. So so right now, I'm just waiting to hear back from Mike. And as soon as I hear back, 90% that we're going live tomorrow. So that's it. So, all right, I'm going to try to turn down the music on the way out. If not, I got to re-upload it. But David B., great David B., did so many different Schmodown songs. He did the theme song to this, thanks to Luke from Galaxy Geeks putting together the intro and all the other stuff. And that's it, guys. So here we go. This is the outro, the intro, the KH channel, KH show. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Look out for that Beetlejuice stuff tonight. All right. Bye.